Hi everyone, this is Selena,
Hi everyone, this is Chitika.
and this is Working Knowledge. Thank you guys for coming back to another episode. Today we're just gonna kind of talk about um, a bunch of random things. I think we're reflecting, we're reflecting on how I think was it yesterday, August 31st.
Yeah,
That was the first day of school for Carnegie Mellon, and it was like really weird to us. What did you think about that? I saw that you posted something on your Facebook timeline about how it was like the first day of um our like first year as well, like 5 years ago. That was so strange.
yeah, I didn't really remember or keep track because we always come back, the last whatever week of August. But I actually don't think since our first year, we've started on August 31st again until this year when we're like
Yeah.
not going back. So it was like exactly the fifth anniversary of our first day at CMU. But yeah, it was really strange. I was talking to my parents over the weekend and I was saying that I didn't realize that usually by this time of year, like every year since 2001, I'm going back to school.
I
And
know.
this is the first year that that's not happening. And that, like, is, I think for me, that's the official, like, sign that I'm supposed to be, like, an adult
An adult,
now.
yeah. Quote unquote adult.
Or, like, at least not a student, you
Mhm.
know? Which is very weird. I think I've always like other things kind of are in flux, and you probably relate to this, but like the student life portion of your like
Mhm.
larger life is usually the biggest part and the most consistent. It's like everything else is like secondary to school, and that's not true for everyone. But I don't know. I was always it was always like that for me.
I feel that. But your brother went back to school, or I guess he's already been at school. When did he start?
Like oh his this year he started last Monday. No,
Oh,
wait,
okay.
he started yesterday too. What am I saying?
Oh,
He also started yesterday. Yeah, so that was funny. Big day.
big
I was
day.
like I was still unpacking and I was like, do you need a pencil because I just found one.
Do you need a pencil? Do you need an eraser?
I don't think we have a single sharpener in this house.
Oh
Actually, no, I
god,
must. I don't know. That's crazy.
that is crazy. Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels super weird not going back this year. I think like especially cuz I mean like for us especially like over the summers in the last few years we've always been busy with like extracurricular student life stuff like AIS or I don't know, other organizations. Like I had Beaux Arts Ball last year that we were
Mm.
slowly working towards, and then like yeah, a lot of stuff that was going on at the same time that made you feel like you were kind of still in school, but this year I have like nothing. And then also we're not even starting school, which is like super strange to me. Um
Yeah.
Kind of nice a little bit, like because we went for so long, it's like kind of nice to have a break, but it's also still super weird.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure we'll feel really great when it's like I don't know, like when it's cold outside and you're not just like sitting in a dark room working away, like you can actually, I don't know, like be a normal person and like, I think it
Mhm.
made it always made like, as someone that grew up in a hot place, it always made winter even harder because like finals were also in winter. So
Yeah.
all the stress was like compacted into like 2 weeks of December. And then it was my birthday and then everything was fine again at that one.
Ooh.
But yeah. Oh my gosh, what is New Year's going to be like this year? Because we were always at
Oh.
an AIS conference over
Well,
New Year's.
especially me. I've been okay, so for context, we've been like heavily involved in AIS, the American Institute of Architecture students, for the past however many years, 4 or 5 years. For me, 5 years. For you, probably more like four. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so they have this big conference that's like the nationwide conference over New Year's, which is like December, normally December like 27th to January 2nd, which includes like
And my
obviously
birthday is December 27th. So
yeah,
I've spent
exactly.
my last three
Three
birthdays on a
birthdays there.
plane.
Yeah. But on a plane. Well, except for one, which you came early for and we like hung out, I think.
Oh, yeah, that
Um
was my 21st.
yeah,
Yeah, that
that
was a
was
good one.
fun. Um but yeah, so we've, especially me at least, I've spent the last 4 New Year's at a conference with a bunch of like students from other architecture schools, which was fun, obviously, but it's gonna be like wild now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even, I have no idea what the situation is gonna be this year. And because, like, you know, you always typically have the holidays sort of like, I don't know, sort of planned out. There's like some portion of the winter break, at least, that I always spent at home.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm just kind of like,
What's gonna happen?
no idea what the world is gonna look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, I just like fully lost track of the school calendar in a way. Like, our friend Alina, she texted the other day and she was like, oh, it's like a long weekend this coming weekend. Because we always got that Monday off, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like Labor Day. And I was like, oh, what does it matter? Because every day is the same.
I know. Oh, it's really weird. I don't know if it's just like uh my brother's school, but they have class on Labor Day this year, which is like really weird. I don't know, maybe it's like the corona thing that's like affecting it, but yeah, they don't get the day off.
Maybe they don't want, like, socializing. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they probably don't want
Or
people
travel.
yeah.
But that was a small digression.
Yeah.
Back to AIS. Yeah. So it's funny, actually. I think a big part of, like, feeling slightly odd about not going back to school is not being involved in, like, AIS stuff, because we would have given, or one of us would have presented at the all school yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, the activities fair. I don't know how they're doing it, but there's, like, some virtual stuff going on this week for, you know, recruiting and, like, getting members to sign up. And then nationally, it's membership month. So we would have had such a busy, like, September lined up.
Yeah. I know. I remember, like, I wasn't super active last year because you were president, but my vice presidency and my presidency years, September and a little bit of October were crazy busy, and it was like so stressful, and then it would die down obviously after that, and then it would pick up again in the spring. But yeah, it's kind of nice not having that stress now. Actually, now I can just chill at home with my dog.
I just vividly remember, like, the first week back when Zane was president, we were on the board. You were VP.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was, like, AI liaison that year?
Yeah, you were a liaison.
Yeah. We just did also a ton of work. And I remember, I think that was the year, or maybe it was the year after that, when you were president. One of the years, we had, like, a full week. The first week back, we had an event every day, like, Monday,
I think that was
Tuesday,
during Zane's
Wednesday,
year.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, we had to get popcorn for, like, 2 days on that week. And I remember riding the bus with, like, 2 giant
They're
bags
really
of
heavy
popcorn.
too. Well, especially like the caramel one. Those are really heavy. Yeah.
I just went and I'm like, okay, it's 2 bags of popcorn. Like, I know they're big, but the guy looks at me and he's like, here you go. And just, like, hauls, like, 2 sacks of popcorn across the counter.
Did you go by yourself?
Like, yeah, it was just me. And I took the bus.
Wow.
Because I was treasurer. So any buying and purchasing was, like, my job.
If it was during Zane's year, I think you were treasurer. And then my presidency
liaison during your year.
Was AIA liaison. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. And, like, on the side, support to the president.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the year, that fall we were that was, like, the first time we did, like, the grad student thing. So we were trying to bring in the grad students too. So we had, like, the first year, like, studio, whatever, popcorn thing that we always do, welcome back thing. And then we had, like, the barbecue the next day. I think that was, like, the first year we did the fall barbecue for the school, like, we managed that. And then the day after that we did, like, the welcome grad students kind of thing. And then I think, like, on Friday we had, like, a dinner somewhere or something like that. But yeah, that was a really busy week, I remember.
I'm stressed out thinking about it, even though I know I don't have to do that right now. It was my gosh, it was a lot of running around. And of course,
those all good things mostly.
I think it was excellent. I mean, I really enjoyed the back to school barbecue every year. I thought that was spectacular.
We
I
only started
usually
doing
like,
that recently, I think.
well, we had
Well,
definitely two
recently.
years.
2 or 3 years,
So
I don't remember.
maybe three. I think
I think it
Zane,
was 3. I think Zane
yeah,
started it
yeah,
in his year,
like to
and
take it
then
on as
yeah, to
students.
take it
Yeah.
on. And then we continued it, and then I don't know, obviously it's probably not happening this year, but um yeah.
I hope not. I know
Yeah.
it's really fun, but I really hope not. Um, yeah, no, that was always actually a really good time. It's funny. I think in a way we got to like interact with people at the school, like obviously students and faculty too, for the most part. But when it came to these kinds of things, like the barbecue or like any planning we did for school, we were always talking to like the communications department or the
Mhm.
finance department, like like those are people who maybe I think they know students, but they don't get to like have one-on-one interface with them
Like
a lot.
yeah, like have a relationship with them. Yeah, that was a nice part
Yeah.
of, I think, being a student leadership at our school, at least, is you got to interact with a lot of administration.
Yeah, and they were all like, I think it's also because they didn't really meet a lot of students. Like they were always
Mhm.
happy to talk. Like I would just like walk into like Dave Gold's office and be like, "Hello, I have a receipt that needs to be reimbursed." So like normally people were like, "Oh, who do I go to?" And I was like, "Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
have
I
a good
know.
day."
Everyone would be like, "Oh, who is what and where?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's okay. Don't worry. I'll
Yeah,
tell you."
I should. No,
Yeah.
it was always. I think it was good to. I mean, over the years, also, I think like the main office became a more and more like protected space.
Yeah.
And until the end, I feel like you and I were definitely still kind of able to like waltz in and
Yeah,
nobody really
definitely. I
questioned.
think I think like I mean, like, I don't want to like be like, "Oh, I could do whatever I want."
No, no, no.
But like,
That was
yeah,
never
we
the
could
case.
definitely like walk into the office and talk to anybody, and they would be comfortable, like, and not be like, "Oh, are you like a student?" or like, blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that the admin is like not happy to talk to students. I think it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like if you don't know who somebody is, you're going to ask why they're in the office,
Mhm.
as opposed to if they're
Yeah.
like
I
easy
think just
seeing.
like some people don't really like go out of their way to talk to the administration,
Right.
or like anybody in the office. I mean, not even just like at the School of Architecture, but also just like the College of Fine Arts. Like
Yeah.
I think like not AIS related, but I got really involved with the College of Fine Arts administration, and that was like a really lovely experience. So
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I always hear good things from you. Yeah, but it's I guess in a way like it's maybe now is I know that's kind of the point of us doing this episode today. It's to sort of reflect, right? That I suppose that is one of the things that I feel like is very helpful, just like knowing how to um I don't know, like maybe it's just like being friendly, but I think there's a build relationship building is like
Mhm.
something that we did a lot. I mean, internally, like, and there were sort of different ways to do that with different sort of populations of the school. But then
Mhm.
externally, like I was like liaison with AIA, which is the American Institute of Architects, for a long time. And then when I was president, I ended up just like continuing doing the liaising, so to speak,
Mhm.
after you like filled in for a bit. But
Yeah.
um where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so I think like of course there's the direct factor of like yeah, if you the more you talk to like people and professionals, you have a network, but then you also just like learn how to do that. So it's I think a lot of people find that after school they like don't know anybody anymore, kind of,
Mhm.
besides your friends from school, and you sort of have to be like, now what?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with the whole like, I guess you could call it networking thing or building relationships thing, because I think at least with AIS, and like I guess other orgs too, but especially AIS, you get the opportunity to build relationships with a lot of different people. So like we were talking about, like school admin and advocating for like our own personal school issues, and then you have like different levels of like maybe students in the school. But then we also, like, you and I or anyone who went to the national conferences, got to interact with a lot of like other types of people too, like
Yeah.
the national board. I know we got really close to that, particularly, and then like liaisons from other parts of the, what do you call them? Oh my god.
Quads.
The other quads.
Selena,
Um,
it's been a day. It's
yeah,
been a
it's been a
day.
day. Um, and then just like, I mean, there were some unique circumstances too. Like when we went
Yeah.
to Grassroots and went on Capitol Hill Day, like you could really
Mm-hmm.
like do that kind of networking or relationship building with those kinds of people. So I
And
definitely
you were
think that's like
also
a
in the Capitol Hill building.
yeah, and in the Capitol Hill building with representatives, it was like a really cool
It was
experience at the
very
time.
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like that's a really good lesson to learn
Mm-hmm.
or understand from like that taking that
Yeah.
away. Yeah.
I think there's a bit of like, especially now that you've mentioned Capitol Hill, and I was also thinking of like when we did a lot of work on the studio culture policies, like
Mhm.
every year, especially towards the last few years, I think.
Mhm. For
Um,
Carnegie Mellon, you mean?
yeah, yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I meant yeah, at our chapter, but like, quick context: there is something that all accredited schools of architecture are required to have, which is or programs are required to have, which is a studio culture policy. So you have to have like written documentation in your student handbook or whatever that outlines what is sort of healthy behavior, both and expectations from student, faculty,
Mhm.
staff,
Mhm. Well,
as a
now
way
it's
to
called the
foster.
Learning and Teaching Culture Policy.
Oh, did they roll it out already? Because I
Oh, I don't
remember when
remember.
we.
I think
I
they
think
did.
that's
But
okay.
that's the working title at least for the
Right, right,
future.
right, right. I just remember like when we did the newest version in the spring, in the
Spring
fall
of
last year.
my presidency, you and I worked on
No,
it
no.
together. Was
But
it?
after that, the fall of this year,
Mhm.
we had a new one.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true. We did.
So exactly, yeah, a year ago. I think
Yeah.
that was the last time we launched. But we like when I presented at the assembly, I was like, "How many of you know what it is?" And like half the people raised their hand. That was fun.
Yeah.
But I think when we did that, we were trying to decide whether we should rename it or not, and then from NAB they said they haven't rolled it out yet. But maybe it's this year. I think they said 2020, so maybe this year when they edit
Maybe.
it, they'll update it. Anyway, the point is like it's supposed to be sort of written and driven by the students, so we always took on the task of like making sure the policy was updated and it was addressing things that need to be addressed. So we had like a lot of. I think it transformed a lot over the years,
Mhm.
and we were able to. I think National asked us for ours as a model too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we I think like it's I don't know when like the like NAB required
I don't know
schools
either.
to have it. I don't remember what year or if they had a specific time. But I know that like a lot of schools don't really like put an emphasis on it, especially those that weren't like um AIS related or had a chapter. And
Yeah.
typically it's because AIS students are the ones that take that on. So our chapter I guess was like kind of forward thinking in that way, where we like had took initiative like way early on and like in being a part of that process. um but yeah, we were kind of one of the first to do so, I think, so that's why like nationals kind of reached out to us for that.
Yeah.
And we had
I
like
think.
a good working knowledge of it at least.
Or at least we like to think so.
Yeah, we like to think so.
Even if beyond the scope of like AIS or architecture students or even student leadership, I think that was a really important experience along with Capitol Hill and sort of like teaching initiative. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I think anybody that's involved in leadership does is interested in taking initiative, but
Hopefully.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think there was sort of this sense that there's like an incremental process of change and for like achieving things that you want to see happen around you. And it
Mm-hmm.
was really interesting because both of those are sort of like weirdly like legislative processes, like the
Mm-hmm.
writing of the policy or like the like going to Capitol Hill and like talking to people who are supposed to shape policy. And I feel like that was a new level of sort of um, learning like a little bit of diplomacy, a little bit of like
Yeah.
change making at a new kind of scale. I think those things are very much like yeah, those have stayed with me, and I expect that I hope that they will be useful. But
Yeah, I think they will.
I think that's maybe one of the more like unique things that we got
Yeah.
to experience as college students. So in terms of
For us too, at
takeaways,
least. I know not
for
everyone
sure.
like gets that opportunity, but I think
Yeah.
like more and more people are, at least in AIS. I don't know. I like to hope so, but
And probably, I mean, there are lots of student orgs out there that have much more of like a focus on that kind of leadership. There were a couple groups on campus too, but yeah, I think that was maybe a particularly like valuable piece of the whole thing. So
I agree. Yeah.
yeah,
I'd say that like another valuable thing that you probably experienced this too, but this is something that I like took on to other orgs that I worked with, like Beaux Arts Ball or like or the CLC thing that I did with student activities.
oh
But
yeah,
yeah, it's called Carnegie Leadership Consultants. Like I'm basically like a leader that teaches other leaders, whatever. Um, but I think it's like the value of a good working team, like a team that works well together, is hard to balance. I think you found that out once you became president, and you probably experienced that as like a member of the board or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a really difficult thing to balance, and I think like one of the things that I always say to like new leaders or to leaders that ask this question is like you have to really like I don't know how to put this. You have to really um look like you care, or like that sounds really stupid, but you have to work as if you are like just a part of the team for leaders to
yeah.
for your like um
Team,
peers, for your team to look at you as a leader. Like if you're not going to do any of the work, or you're not going to do your part of the whole piece, then they're not going to respect you.
yeah.
And that's like a really big part of it, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. I feel like maybe that was one of the things I learned um maybe most like powerfully. I don't know, like when I was president, but even
Powerfully.
before that.
Yeah.
Like it was most apparent to me then, but I also had a team of very new people. So for me, I was always conflicted between like, oh, I kind of want to be their friend, like all of that. I was very aware that I was like an upperclassman and they were like all just like still halfway through the program, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you sort of have to by you sort of have to you sort of have to let that go at some point, that yes, you can be friends outside of the team
Yeah.
environment or outside of your project, but not all, like, it was weird because we were always working together as friends, like, and our peer group was heavily involved, and then like
Mm-hmm.
fifth year came and then there was this sudden like influx of new people, which was of course very healthy, but it was like it was a different experience to be on
Yeah.
a team with
A
people
different
that like,
vibe. Yeah.
yeah, but it works. I mean, it doesn't mean that they didn't. I hope that they were honest. I mean, they seem to really enjoy being on the team.
Yeah.
So, and then we did the feedback. Oh yeah, you processed the feedback forms for me. Thank
Yeah.
you, by the way.
You're welcome.
So, yeah. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is you do have to sort of put the work before yourself. I think that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, that I agree with that.
But that's important to learn. And it's funny because, both you and I have like we've experienced the sort of like in the last 5 years of doing student leadership, you like start with a member position or you like join a team and then you work upwards, or not upwards. All right. We work laterally, but you work to a position where you like come to be in charge. And so there is a certain like not very dramatic, but there is some like hierarchy where you're sort of like moving in a certain direction. And then now whenever we start work again, we're like kind of at the bottom of the food chain, for lack of a better term.
I would say that's pretty accurate. Yeah, pretty on the nose.
Yeah, not that it's. I don't mean to like use a term with negative connotations, but in a way, it's like a resetting of the kinds of work or whatever we're used to do, and in a way, I think it's refreshing. I'm really looking forward to just
not having so much responsibility.
Yeah, or like having a different kind of responsibility, like maybe not
Yeah.
having like my neck on the line constantly, and just, which is not to say that I don't want to be held accountable as a member of the team, but it is different.
It is different, yeah.
I'm
And I
also
think
excited to
like
sort of.
it kind of lets you prove yourself in a way, which is like
Mm,
kind of what you like what we worked for, like when we were like quote unquote at the bottom, or just like as a member in AIS, is like you kind of find your stride in what you want to do, and then you can move on up from there. Yeah.
yeah, like that's what I was gonna say. It's exciting to sort of learn about a new place or a new,
Mm-hmm.
thing, right? Like, oh, these are the values, or like this is how people work, and like this is even like how the team got here. Things like
Yeah.
that. I think it's
Yeah.
exciting to be brought into like a new fold.
I get that.
So,
Yeah. Not to say that like obviously we didn't appreciate our time in college doing all these orgs, but it is refreshing to like start anew or kind of leave that slightly behind or just take the most important things from it.
yeah, and make space for new people to take it on.
Mhm.
So
That's
I'm
important.
excited.
Yeah.
We have a sort of trilogy of like female presidents at our chapter.
Oh yeah, we
So
do.
that's gonna be
Yeah,
cool.
the
I'm
last
excited.
3.
Hmm.
Exciting.
Yeah. But if we really, really miss it, there's always grad school. So
No, thank you. I'm good with that. Maybe you can go, but I'm not going to grad school.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's a while away.
Watch me like
But
5 years from now go to grad school. Oh my god.
I feel like it is the people that say they won't go.
Yeah. I
So
mean like okay, maybe I'm just tired of it for now, but like in high school, my last 2 years of high school, junior senior year, were at a college. It's like a they call it like a
the economy.
residential, huh? The
The
academy.
academy.
No, it's a residential quote unquote gifted and talented high school that you have to like apply to get into and whatever. But it's on Ball
Ooh.
State's campus. And
Oh, I
then
didn't know
they
you were on Ball State's campus.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is
That's
new
where my brother's
information.
going right now. But
Oh,
it's like you have to apply to get in and blah blah blah, and you live on campus and
gotcha.
stuff. So I basically was already in college,
Yeah.
2 years before I went to college, and then I had 5 years of college. So I was over it. That's one of the reasons why I like really, really wanted to move out after well, I wanted to move out after first year, like off campus, but I
Gotcha.
got roped into like a dorm thing, which is fine. And then I left after that, so tired of dorm life. No thank you for me.
Yeah, I was looking for a rug for my new place the other day, and I wanted something like really simple. I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted like an accent piece. I hate how I sound saying accent piece, but it is what it is. And then I was on Target, and then I really hated myself for doing it, but I clicked on like the dorm decor
Oh
section
no.
because they have like affordable options that you won't need to like keep for
That's
10 years.
true. That's true. Did you
And then
find
I
any
was
that
like,
you
oh my
liked?
gosh. Yeah, I found something
Oh.
really cute for like $9. And I was like, oh no.
But come on,
It
get an
never leaves
adult
you.
rug. I
Mm,
know.
I don't know if I'm ready for an adult rug yet.
Mm.
Maybe an adult job first. No, Jacob.
Yeah.
But it looks like we're like wrapping up on time for the day
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I think we're
So,
good. I hope you
all
guys
right.
got something out of this podcast. I don't know. We were just kind of like talking about our, I don't know, college and not having college now.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
We just sort of had a mini existential crisis.
Yeah.
And
No, it's fine.
so thank
Yeah.
you for coming.
Yeah. Make sure you rate or comment or subscribe, whatever platform, whatever you're watching on, or not watching, listening to. Um,
For
yeah,
now, at least.
for now.
Yeah.
We're on pretty much all the podcast platforms. We are on all the podcast platforms. So make sure you guys check us out. The other episodes, I mean, if you haven't already. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Any
And
last
keep
words?
your last words. As a student, maybe? No, I'm kidding. No.
Ugh.
Yeah. I think my closing thought is there's always grad school. Yeah.
My
All
closing
right.
thought is I'm never going to grad
Never
school.
again? Never again.
Never again. I mean, if I go to grad school, obviously I'm not going to live in a dorm or anything like that, but I don't
Yeah.
want to go to school anymore. So
I don't think you're allowed for
yeah.
good measure. But all right.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.